Hi, I'm Jamie.
And I'm Dale.
We're sisters and best friends, and this is Proof It's Possible.
Jamie and I are complete opposites, but somehow through every stage of life, we stay on the same team. We're kicking the door wide open and sharing our morning coffee chats with you.
Join us as we chat about everything from chasing our dreams to entrepreneurship to family, friendship, and what other craziness we have going on that week.
Hi, today we are chatting about accountability. Thanks for joining us. We're so excited to have you.
Yeah, so accountability, I feel like, has been on my mind, and we've talked about this a little bit in the last few weeks and months because we kind of started our book writing process as an accountability experiment with each other. Jamie and I basically said the only way that we'll actually get these books off of our desks and into the world is if we held each other accountable. So I feel like that was our biggest step towards and biggest toe in the water of making a pact where we were not allowing the other person to quit. But I want to talk today about why it matters, who to pick as your accountability partner, why your accountability partner matters, why it actually propels you to your goal, all of those things. So what do you think what helped you the most within even just using our books as an example, what helped you keep going? Or what was the thing that you felt like accountability made the difference?
For the books, I definitely think having an accountability partner was the only way to get through it. And I had to have an accountability partner that was in the arena, as Brené Brown says. I didn't want someone who was good job from the sidelines. I needed somebody who was doing it too. I needed someone who was striving for the exact same goal, who was in there grinding and hustling and writing when we didn't feel like writing. Someone who was I know exactly what you're going through because I'm also going through it and we have to do this together and all of the things. And I really think that with any goal, that has to be with any accountability partner, your goal has to be finding somebody who's also in the trenches. If you have fitness goals, then you need to find somebody who is either gone through it or who is currently going through it. So someone who's going to show up at the gym with you, someone who's going to push you to do a little bit more, push you a little harder, run an extra K, whatever that looks like. But you can't have somebody who's the couch critic
who's value that.
Who's you at the gym right now? Because you don't value their opinion because they're not.
When it comes to a goal getting more fit or being at the gym, that is something I truly hate. I actually hate it. So Same. If somebody chose me as their accountability partner, I'd be yeah, way to go. I'll never see you there. And do you want to go for lunch instead? Or what are you thinking? Because we could go to the mall and that would be way better. And I'd have a better time with that. So
absolutely. And that's why we are not fitness accountability partners for each other, because that would
for sure. Well, and I even feel like that in life. It's not even just about accountability, it's about your cheerleaders in general. Although I think a cheerleader is one role and an accountability partner is another. We need lots of cheerleaders that just believe in us and are excited for us. And I think you're right. The person that's your accountability partner has to be in the throes of something similar. So if you're an entrepreneur, you need entrepreneur friends to cheer you on. And sometimes your friends that work for a corporation or work for somebody else, they just don't know the same. They're not going through the same things. They're going through their own things and they need a different person to help them get the promotion or, go through their level up things. So I do believe that your crew matters. And we talk about community on here all the time. And we love this community, and so many of the people that follow us every week and listen all the time are our cheerleaders, but having the person that's actually there for you doing the same stuff. And you can be what did you do in this situation? Whether they're ahead of you on their journey, in the same spot or behind you, you at least are in, like you said, the arena together.
Yes. And I also think it should be noted that your accountability partner doesn't have to be someone who's just close to you, who's there and convenient. Ray is not a great accountability partner for me because him and I see life completely differently. So like when I'm in like the dreaming phase, he comes in with like reasoning, and I'm like, no, take all of your like responsible reasoning energy out of here, because I'm trying to build a dream. Like this is a bit of a like stretch your edges exercise. And he's like, yeah, but have you ever considered that?
It's a but activity. Like that's exactly what my book is about, is like you already have your own huge list of buts in this world, and you have to know which people in your life are going to feed those buts. Like that is
And I think that we really need to address the fact that the people you love a lot, and maybe even the most in this life, might have the biggest buts, because they also are scared for you. Like,
of course,
the people like Ray, I'm sure, was scared that like, what if she writes a book and nobody buys it? What if she fails? What if she does all that stuff? He has the same like but stories as me, because he loves me the most, because he wants the best. He's scared.
Your failure actually affects him. Whereas like some friend that's a business friend doesn't, like, although they want the best for you and they want to see all the good things for you, their bank account doesn't go down if you financially fail. Whereas like your husband's, or even like your parents or your sister or whoever that like truly worry about your well-being, they don't want to see you fail. They want to see all the good things. Yeah, exactly. And their opinions of what you're doing often come through. Like I use the example of when I first said out loud, I'm going to be a public speaker. And like a lot of people who have that but for themselves applied their buts to me. And they said things like totally innocently. They said, well, what will you talk about? And part curiosity, part worry for me, part their own fears of public speaking came through.
I'm just like talking out loud.
Talking out loud. But what I had to do was be like, okay, you're strong. You know what you're going to talk about. You don't have your speech written yet. You don't know all the steps yet, but don't listen. Don't take on other people's fears, because other people will always have fears. And sometimes in life, you have to see your own path, and it won't make sense to other people. And you can't, because we all have people in our life, whether they're meaning to like derail you or not, that could easily derail us. Like they could easily just take us out and be like, you're right. I absolutely can't do this. Nobody would listen to my speech. I don't have anything to share, even though their point in asking, what will you talk about, was just out of curiosity, maybe. Or it was because they genuinely don't know what your messaging would be, because you've never been a public speaker. So why would you all of a sudden have something to say? What is that thing? So getting like a little bit of self-confidence in yourself to just stand up and stand behind and be sure of yourself, even when you're not sure of yourself, is very hard.
It's very hard. I also think that it's really helpful to find an accountability partner that either is super close, that you can be very real and honest with, or someone who's a little bit removed, so that you can have that honesty factor. Because I think that if you're both walking on eggshells, being like, oh, I don't want to hurt the person's feelings, so I'm not going to tell them X, Y, or Z, that's not a great accountability partner. That's not somebody that is truly going to hold you accountable, or you're going to hold them accountable, because you have this underlying like people pleasing thing going on, fear going on.
For sure. But then the opposite is also true, in that if you get somebody distant enough that you're like, I'll just ghost that person. If I don't like how this is going, and like I'm not showing up to the gym, and this person's somebody that like I can just trade to a different gym and I'll never see them again because they're not part of my life at all. There needs to be some sort of like connection to that person that you don't want to disappoint them.
Absolutely. Yes. And this came up, someone reached out to me and was like, would you be my accountability book partner? And it was right when I was writing my book, and it was somebody that I just had no connection to. They didn't live near me. I only knew them very briefly from like an interaction on the internet. And I was like, I can't be your accountability partner, because I don't actually value your opinion. I don't know enough about you to value your opinion. I don't have any feelings, positive or negative, towards you. So like, I just, you're not a great fit for me. And it's
Well, and
really
you know, it's
hard to
funny.
say
So
that.
I had somebody reach out the same and I said yes. And I did the whole like, let's keep in touch on our book and try to, you know, have like a little side deal where we keep each other doing the things. And it didn't matter if they were like, let's all write 2 chapters this week. If I didn't do it, I was like, okay.
Oh
I
well.
didn't write my chapters, or I
No
didn't even
biggie.
show up for the next meeting, maybe. Like it honestly was not the right group. And I wish them well. They were super nice. Like, but it just didn't motivate me whatsoever because I wasn't emotionally invested in them at all. At all. At all.
Totally.
And it's so funny that like you went ahead and were like, no, I don't think so. And I like fully got into a group and then was like, no, I don't actually
I'm
think
not
so.
going to participate. Thank you.
I'm like such a say yes and then be like, shit, why did I do this? I don't want these people's feedback. I'm not showing up for myself or them better because I'm part of this group. Like, I do think your accountability person has to make you want to be better, make you want to like not embarrass yourself, you know? And
Mhm.
sometimes for some people, it can totally be a complete stranger. Like if you're, for instance, if you're like, goal is to, let's say, lose weight or get to a healthier weight, and you end up joining some sort of like dietitian program where the dietitian like weighs you every week, and showing up to see the doctor and the doctor being like, oh, you didn't lose any weight or you gained weight. That's like extremely motivating for people, even though that person can literally never show back up again. They still don't want to, like they want to show up to the doctor and be like, I lost my 2 pounds, or I'm feeling great, or whatever it is that their goal is. And that's enough for a lot of people. For me, it is absolutely not enough. I do need a little bit of an emotional, like,
I think that's all personality style though. Like some people are such people pleasers that if they don't please their doctor, that would be enough. I could
yeah,
care less what my doctor
same.
thinks of me. So I'm not a great that wouldn't be like motivating at all for me, but I
Totally.
can
I
see
mean,
how.
I get the embarrassment of having to show up after a bad week and be like, oh, you know, you still want to keep going and work towards your goal, but you didn't have a great week. So, you know, you're going in there to kind of like face the bad news or whatever. And that I think can be motivating in its own way, is that if you're not giving up on yourself. But I think what ends up happening is if it is an easy thing to quit and an easy accountability person to quit, you quit. And that's kind of
Mhm.
crappy. But I definitely think accountability in my life like holds me to my goals, and to the point where not just for manifestation reasons, but for accountability reasons, I force myself to say my goals out loud to people, at least somebody, so that
Mhm.
somebody knows that I'm on this path, you know? Because
Oh,
if I
and for me,
just keep
that's somebody that for me that somebody is like the universe. I'm like, hey, universe, if I say it out loud, just
Mhm.
you got to make it come true.
For
That's
sure. But I need to say it to the universe and a person. Like I
yeah,
need
yeah,
like
yeah.
somebody in the real world being like, yeah, but you said that you were going to do that and you're not doing it or whatever.
Yeah, I also think that that's like a universal law too, is that
Mhm.
you have to tell the universe and somebody else. You can't just be in the mirror saying out loud, like, I want to be rich and famous and like expect it to
Exactly.
happen overnight or whatever your
Yeah,
goal.
or you don't have a path and you're not taking steps towards it and you're just like, it's going to happen for me though. I can feel it. I can feel it. You know, that's
Totally.
not how success is like built. And that's exactly why I think accountability matters, is because it literally, to me, goals are reached one brick at a time. And
Hmm.
so, you know, the road to your success is you literally lay down a brick every day. And,
Hmm.
but it's that action every single day. So if you're not doing the action and nobody's holding you accountable, and you're really good at like quitting on yourself and not holding yourself to the task to say,
Hmm.
I am going to make a social media post for my business every single day, or 3 per week. And then the week goes by and you didn't plan for it, you just didn't do the thing, and then you're mad that the business didn't work out, or that nobody knows that you offer this service, or whatever it is. um, you can't expect that you're going to get ahead. That's just not how that works. Like the
Hmm.
universe meets you in the middle. So you say it out loud, you declare it as your own, you get the accountability partner, but then you act. you actually physically do the things, small things every single day or every single week that lead you there. And that is why accountability matters, because your accountability partner is checking in to say,
so for anyone who's listening, what is like your biggest piece of advice for someone who's looking for an accountability partner? Like if somebody is out there listening and they're like, you know what, I'm doing the big thing, whatever the big thing is, I need to find myself an accountability partner like they just talked about. What is your one piece of advice for finding that?
I think the person, like you said, has to be in the same general arena. Like obviously, if you're doing something big and different, you're not going to easily find the right people to hold you accountable. And it's why we've talked about this before, and we'll talk about it again. It's why putting yourself in rooms with different people sometimes matters when it's time to level up to your next big goal. Is you're not going to find your accountability partner necessarily in your friend group or in your family, or those people are too nervous for you, like we said. So find somebody that you trust their opinion, that is in the same general arena, or somebody that you look up to, or somebody that you respect, and commit to yourself and them out loud clearly what the like accountability is for, what you're both pushing each other to do. I actually think it's really important that they're like, if say your thing was writing a book, it's that your accountability partner is also currently writing a book. Because for me, once I'm done writing the book or writing the speech or doing the task, I can get like a little bit disconnected from that thing, right? It's like a person that doesn't go to the gym anymore, that you want them to be your accountability partner at the gym. Well, they're not at the gym. So pick somebody who's currently hitting that same goal or trying to hit that same goal, I think.
Yeah.
What are your tips? Yeah. Who do you
I have a couple of tips. Number one, I think your why has to be in alignment with your accountability partner. So totally, just for like easy, an easy example, if we are doing the fitness one, if one person is strictly getting fit for appearances, and they just want to look great in their bikini, that's one thing. If somebody else is getting fit because they want to be healthier or their blood pressure was too high or something like that, I feel like those two are not a great match for being accountability partners because their whys are way too far apart.
Totally.
You have to find somebody who's doing it for the same reasons you're doing it. When you're writing a book, what is the purpose of writing your book? Is it to help other people? Is it to inspire? Is it to grow your following? Is it to, set yourself on a new platform? Whatever. Is it a how-to guide and you need to find somebody that is writing a very similar how-to guide because you're both in the tech industry or something like that? I think your whys have to be really similar. And then I also think that you have to pick somebody that is going to hold you accountable to a deadline. Because I think that ambiguous, like, yeah, let's do the thing, but never having like a set timeline or, hey, we need to like have two chapters
on this day.
Yeah, we have two chapters
at this point. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And even if it's not like an end date, but there has to be incremental goals along the way that are attached to somewhat of a timeline. Because I think without that, people are like, oh, I'll catch up later. I'll do it later. I'll work out twice as hard later. I'll do 5 chapters next week instead of 2 this week and 3 next week. It's so easy to put off the hard thing because it's hard. So you have to have these little rest stops or areas where you're like, have check-ins where you're like, have I done the thing that I said I was going to do, and not wait till the very end of it to be like, oh, I'm too far behind to make my goal now. So those are my two big pieces of advice.
For sure. All right. We'd love to hear from you guys. And thank you so much for listening. We want to hear all about your accountability wins, losses, whatever it is that you're dreaming of or needing an accountability for. We love hearing from you. So thank you for being here.
Can we please ask you, leave us a review. We love hearing the reviews.
Totally.
Okay. Bye.
We are so grateful you're here.
It would mean the world to us if you'll subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel and leave us a review.
If you want to hear more from us, go to proofitspossible.com to join our mailing list and find our social links so you don't miss a thing.
Thanks, and chat next time.